population, 65% will come from coal. Hydro, that is from all your hydro plants, it is about 20%. Nuclear is only 2.6%. It's a very small component. And all other renewables are about 11%. Renewables, I mean all this wind power, solar, bio, etc. Compared to our per capita consumption, we will benchmark with USA. The per capita consumption is about 13,000 units. It's the same unit that you measure in your own homes. So the per capita consumption of power for a citizen in USA is 13,000 units, whatever we have. In India, it is just 700 units. So you can just have a comparison. It is only to compare the lifestyle, where we are and how developed the other countries are. Coming to the issues with whatever the thermal plants and the hydro plants that we have, we all know that the resources are limited. Coal is a limited resource. Today, we are talking of climate change, the quality degradation in the atmosphere, acidification, the ash that is generated in the thermal plants, they are disposed, a lot of acids get generated from that, groundwater contamination, marine pollution, coastal pollution, land disturbance, large fuel requirements. Train loads of fuel need to be transported to operate a thermal plant. When you talk of hydro plants, large population displacement, large areas will be inundated. And then, when you do something of this magnitude, when you develop some reservoirs, it has its own impact on the ecosystem. Next, we see windmills. This is an area famous for windmills. Thousands of windmills are operating here. Windmill is definitely an environment-friendly source of power. But what are the disadvantages? Wind is something which we cannot predict. Someday there will be wind, someday there will not be wind. When there is wind, we cannot expect that the person will use power. When there is no wind, he will not use. That is not possible. Okay. And the requirement for the windmill is that the wind should be of a specified speed. If it is more also, it will not work. If it is less also, it will not work. So I am told, though statistically they say 30% availability, I am told statistically in this area, availability is about 20% only. So availability of the windmill is 20%. So you just think, if you have about 3,000 megawatt of windmill operating in this area, other than the time the wind is there of the required velocity, rest of the time what do? We'll have to supplement with other powers. Of course, hydro is dependent on the monsoon, which again plays havoc sometimes. Sometimes you have excess, sometimes you have shortfall. Now coming to the nuclear power, please don't think that I'm marketing nuclear power to this audience. It is small in size. If you see the plant, you can realize it's a very compact unit. Small quantum of fuel is used. The residues are very less. There are no gaseous releases. The waste is produced in very small quantity. They need to be preserved appropriately. A probable disadvantage of a nuclear power plant could be the storage of the waste products that are generated. So more and more technology has come into it, and they have developed systems which generates very small quantum. For example, the plant that we have, the quantum of waste is virtually negligible. The Russian project that we have at Kudankulam, the quantum of radioactive waste, they have taken care in the design in such a manner that it is very minimal, and even the waste that is generated, they are minimizing or compressing the waste. So to say, the combustible waste is put into an incinerator. You know how much volume reduction will happen when you incinerate a combustible waste. Paper, for example, when you burn paper, the volume of paper will be so large, but once you burn it or put it in the incinerator, the quantum becomes very less. So I am just giving you an example that these methods are used to minimize the waste that is generated in the nuclear power plant. Okay? And like I said earlier, this project was initially signed by the late Prime Minister Shri Rajiv Gandhi and the then President of the USSR, Shri Mikhail Gorbachev, that is way back in 1988. They signed the agreement, but subsequently USSR fell. So for about 10 years, nothing happened, and then the project was revived in 1998, and then the project work started. Coming to the reactor building that we have here, it is a huge building that you see. It's about 40 meters and about 75 meters height. It's a dome structure, and all of you will agree that it is designed like a pressure vessel. That's why the dome at the top. In the nuclear plant, we have what is known as a defense in depth, so that even if one barrier fails, there are the next barrier. Just like when you have to get up at 4 in the morning, we'll keep an alarm at 4 o'clock, and then possibly we'll keep at 4:15 and 4:30 and so on. We have what is known as a double containment. The inner containment is to protect the process, and the outer containment is to prevent the external events. What could be the external events which can affect a nuclear power plant? It could be an explosion nearby. It could be crash of an aircraft, or any other man-made events. So the external or the shroud or the outer containment is made of concrete. It is about 60 centimeter thick, and this will prevent any external event from affecting the reactor building. The inner building is about 1.2 meters thick of concrete, which is lined, which will prevent any liquid or gaseous release from inside to come out. So there can not be any environment hazard from the nuclear power plant. There are a lot of safety systems built. This is a generation 3+ reactor that we have here. We have what is known as an active system and a passive system. An active system is one which requires power or a motive force. It requires some external supply. And passive systems are there which doesn't require anything. Okay? By the basic laws of physics, it will remove the heat or whatever is required. For example, in the passive system, we have what is known as a passive heat removal system, wherein by the natural convection of air, we can remove the heat from the primary system. So we take the steam to the outside into a heat exchanger, and there we are able to cool it by the natural ventilation. Something similar to the natural draft cooling towers, which most of you must have seen in a power plant. In the natural draft cooling tower, you can see water is just sprayed from the top, and by the natural convection of air, it removes the heat. Okay? And we have an exclusive zone that is about 1.6 kilometers radius around the nuclear plant is off-bound for public movement. So roughly our plant size will be about 5 kilometers across, and a diameter radius, we can say we are along the coastline, so we have about 2 kilometers radius. Coming to the other things, seismic events also is one area where we have to observe for it during the location of the power plant. This area, as you all are aware, are away from any seismic disturbances. If we see the data of the past, the nearest faults are many hundreds kilometers away. So we do not expect any major seismic activity in this region. It comes under the zone 2 category of seismology. And coming to tsunami, India had never heard of a tsunami till 2004. Till the day it occurred on 26 December 2004. But these plants, with the Russian technology, were designed for the tsunami even before that. Okay. Though we did not understand what is the tsunami, but it was designed for it. The plant is constructed at a graded level. We have the essential power supplies, etc. at a higher elevation so that no flood or anything can affect the operations. Just to give you an example, the tsunami on 26/12/2004, I think it came to 2.4 meters. 2.4 meters was the wave height on 26/12/2004. But the bottommost structure in our power plant is 7.65 meter, which is the pump house. Okay, so 2.4 meter and 7 points. So that is the difference. And similarly, the reactor building is about 8 meters plus. The diesel generator, we also use a backup power supply by a diesel generator. That is about 9.3. And the transmission lines, we get power and evacuation power. That is about 13 meters elevation. Before we established this power plant, we had what is known as the Environmental Survey Lab, which will collect the data of the environment in this area, in the surrounding area, before the plant is established. And during the operation of this plant, similar data is collected, and then we try to correlate if the impact of this power plant. Whatever we have seen, there is hardly any impact due to this power plant. I'd just like to recollect that recently in the media there were reports from the nearby fishermen that they are seeing erosion in their coastline. They are seeing erosion, they are seeing warm water, and they are seeing frothing on the surface. This maybe a week back or 10 days back, it has appeared in the media, and they were telling that this is happening because of the power plant. So then we try to study whatever their concerns are, and then the state authorities also wanted us to give a response to that. Then I met the authorities a few days back. I told them, as far as warm water or temperature is concerned, you should all know that to generate 1000 megawatt of electrical, we need to generate 3000 megawatt thermal. Clear? It is true for any plant. Even if you go for a coal plant or anything, to generate 1000 megawatt, you need to generate 3000 megawatt thermal. And most of this 2000 megawatt will go into the seawater, it is going to the seawater. So whatever the seawater we discharge, as per the environmental norms, we discharge at 7 degrees higher than the what is taken in. That is the limit. So these data is available to the pollution authorities. They are also monitoring this. So I told them, see, we are complying to the standards, and whatever the studies are there, with this difference, it is not going to affect the sea animals, okay, like the sea, the fishes or anything in the sea, it is not likely to affect them. Coming to the erosion, erosion is a natural occurring phenomenon. All the coastline, you see that it is naturally occurring. It can also occur due to some construction or something that we do. But we explained to them that Kudamkulam is there, and we do not have any structure extending into the sea. We have structures in the sea which are standalone, but we don't have any structures from the sea. We also told them that we have undertaken very unique features at Kudamkulam to protect the fishing community. For your information, this may be the only plant in the country wherein when we take the seawater, we have a mechanism to send back the fishes. It is called the Fish Protection Facility, and it is unique to Kudamkulam in the whole country. Means no coastal site has this facility, wherein the seawater that we take, we send back the fishes, or we divide it of fishes and then take the seawater to our intake. This is to protect the environment. Further, in the design itself, there are what is known as artificial reefs, which will promote the multiplication of fishes. So these are the environment-friendly measures that have been taken to protect the interests of the fishing community that is there. Once again, I repeat, nuclear energy is clean energy and it is environment-friendly energy. And for, just as I said about the statement by the Prime Minister, the future of the power industry may have to depend on nuclear. There is no other option but to go for nuclear, because you cannot go for the coal plants because they are highly polluting. Whatever the hydro, it has reached a saturation and you can't have new plants. So even countries which were rich in oil, which said we don't want nuclear plants, like the European countries, USA, etc., they're all trying to construct nuclear plants now. Because with the available technology, tomorrow we don't know, we talk of hydrogen fuel, etc., how it is going to turn out. With today's available technology, nuclear may be the only option. Coming back, today we have the world in our palm, all our palm tops and laptops, and we should all remember that we must adapt to change. You have to keep yourself updated, and that is very essential to remain in constant touch with the external world. Your professional journey will start from here. Of course, all of you have put in about 1 year of work experience elsewhere. Just before this gathering, I was talking to the professors and I was asking them why candidates from this area or generally down south are not showing keen interest in joining organization like ours, Linkudankulam. Then he was saying most of them are interested in software industry and things like that. I understand that software industry may be much more a cozy lifetime, but this is also another area. You should definitely look at this option. NPCIL does recruitment through the gate entrance exam. So we have a qualifying exam through the gate, and I request that all of you should prepare and make an attempt. Way back, I also joined in a similar manner. After joining, we are given that, I told you, induction training about 1 year, 6 months classroom, and then 6 months on the job. And after that, we get into the different roles. So, like somebody said, working in the nuclear plant is very demanding. So just like that, we will not be able to allow anybody to operate the panel. We should check his skills. We should ensure that he is competent to operate the plant. So we have a very elaborate system of evaluation, not like the university with one exams or Viva we are going through. Just to narrate a few, we start with what is known as a checklist, wherein a booklet of questions are given related to each system, and you need to clear them with your senior or the person who is already qualified. Then we have the written checkout, wherein we are clearing the papers like any other university exam. Then we have to undergo the simulator. The simulator is one wherein we are simulated the control room or the panels where we have to operate. And there we are given the opportunity to operate the panels, and the transients are also simulated. Once we complete that, we go for a walkthrough. Walkthrough means they will take you on a walk through the plant and they will ask you questions on the way. So for all this, there will be different committees, and then there will be a final interview. Okay, so based on this, you will be permitted to operate the panel as a control engineer, or the next to supervise the operation, you become a assistant shift charge engineer, and further overall in charge will be a shift charge engineer. So this is how the growth happens in the industry. I joined after my engineering, I joined this industry, and after that I was in the maintenance department. I spent about 30 years there, and after that I came to Kudankulam, and then I was elevated to the post of site director. Your journey is not going to be easy, but remember, if the mountains are not steep, the climb doesn't test your resolve, correct? If it is not steep, everybody can do it, okay? So it has to be steep, then only you have a sense of achievement. So definitely, you all would be facing mountains which are steep, so definitely you should climb and achieve the success. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. So if you love what you're doing, you will be successful. Definitely opportunities come our way. Please take your opportunities as it comes and do well. Put your heart and soul into it. Definitely, it is going to pay you in the long run. The world's greatest achievements have come from those who have dared to think differently. okay, who dare to challenge the status quo, what is existing, they dare to challenge and ask why we can't think differently. This is the killer instinct which will drive us forward. I'll just narrate a small episode. A man was passing by the elephant. You know, elephant is when Mahout will be there with the who's handling the elephant. He suddenly stopped and he was confused. Such a huge elephant, but the Mahout is carrying one thin rope. Okay, no chains, nothing else. One thin rope and one stick, one small lathi. That is nothing for the elephant. Then he was wondering why the elephant is remaining there. It is not moving, it is not attacking him, it is not doing anything. Then he asked the trainer, who is continuously with this elephant, why it is not breaking off and going let loose. Then the trainer replied, when it was a small baby elephant, I tied this rope. That time it tried, but the rope was strong enough to hold him back. But that mindset continued throughout its life. Until date, it thinks of the day when it was a small baby elephant and it tried to pull away. So this is what is, you need to break free from those bonds which they believe they couldn't. Failure is always there, but we should come out out of it. Failure is a part of learning. Never give up in your lifetime. One more small story I just wanted to narrate. This is an experiment wherein they put 5 monkeys in a room. They put 5 monkeys in one room. The opening is at the top for them to go out. So there was a ladder which will lead the monkeys to the rooftop. So what happened initially when they kept the 5 monkeys, if somebody tried to step onto the ladder, there will be a big spray of water and high spray of water will fall on all the monkeys. So they all got afraid. Immediately they withdrew. 2-3 times they tried, same thing happened, so they withdrew. Now what happened? After some time, they were all happy, they were fed there, but they never ventured into climbing that ladder. After some time, they removed one of the old set of monkeys and introduced a new one. The new one doesn't know all the story about this water spray, etc. But before this fellow could go to the ladder, all others pulled him back, thinking that if he climbs, all of them will be facing the high pressure injection. Then some days passed, another old set monkey they removed and put a new one. Now the same thing happened, he tried to go there. All the others prevented him. But in this prevention, even the new monkey which had gone inside recently, he didn't know for what it is pulling, but that also pulled him back. So the same thing happened and all the old set of 5 monkeys were replaced. And there were 5 new set of monkeys. But all of them continued to do the same thing. They don't know for what they are doing, but whoever went near the ladder, they were pulling them back. Our life should not become like that. Let us dare to think differently. Okay? I repeat once again, the world's greatest achievements came from those who dared to think differently. One of the most powerful tools that you have with you is your mind. The way you think, you can shape reality. Okay? It is very important to emphasize the importance of positive thinking. Okay? And all of you have done extremely well in your academics, and definitely when you will be facing many interviews or many forums wherein you will be asked questions about what is your ambition and all other things. I'm sure that you should be prepared for this. Along with academics, like the earlier speaker said, your soft skills should also be developed and you should be confident and your goal in life should be very clearly explained. Your time management is very important. Take the time to work for the success is priceless. Okay. One of the statistics that I read recently show that 80% of your results, whatever you do, 80% is achieved with 20% effort and time. So your effort, 20%, you are able to achieve 80% of your results. So the rest of the 80% of the time and effort is available to you. Use it fruitfully, definitely, you will achieve big success. We always want a smart worker. We don't want a hard worker. Nobody wants you to, slog day and night. You have to be a smart worker. You have to think and do your job. I was just recollecting on my way that Tirunelveli is famous for alwa and Thuthukudi for macaroons. Yeah, macaroons. And this area is a very popular joint for education. So all of you should bring pride to this region and with your bright colors. The future of this country is in your hands. It is the youth. You have to lead this country tomorrow. So you should be prepared for that. You should be well informed. Please have the habit of reading the newspaper at least for 15 minutes every day. You should know what is happening around the world. You might have recently read about the software breakdown that happened, and internationally what was the result of this. So we are so much dependent on these things today. I was just thinking, if there is a power breakdown, what is going to be the impact? In recent times, we have never heard of a power breakdown. We may have some power shutdown in some areas, but if there's a power breakdown, it is going to be extremely difficult to revive. Though many steps are being taken to prevent a collapse of the grid. When I say power breakdown, it's the collapse of the grid. The whole grid collapses. It is extremely difficult to bring any power plant, because to start the power plant, you need external power. And if you don't have external power, you cannot start any plant. I recollect few decades back, there was a breakdown of the northern grid in Delhi. And it became very difficult to revive the grid, to bring back the grid. So we should be prepared for all these challenges. Don't be afraid of failure. It's a stepping stone to success. Every small step you take is a step closer to your goal. I conclude my speech with a quote from Swami Vivekananda. Believe in yourself and the world will be at your feet. Believe in yourself and the world will be at your feet. Best wishes for a bright future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This graduation day of Anna University Regional Campus, Tirunelveli, University VOC College of Engineering, Thuthukudi, and University College of Engineering, Nagarkoil, has been arranged to issue the degrees in the faculties of Civil Engineering, Mechanical Engineering, Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Information and Communication Engineering, and Management Studies for the candidates who have been conferred degrees in the 44th Convocation of Anna University held on 2nd July 2024. Let the candidates be now presented.
Esteemed Register, I present unto you the candidates in person in the Faculty of Civil Engineering who have been certified after examination to be duly qualified to receive the ranks and degrees of Anna University, Chennai, Anna University Regional Campus, Tirunelveli, Kavya, yes, first rank, BE Geoinformatics Engineering.
ரெண்டாயிரத்து 24 கூட இருக்கிற பல விஷயங்கள் பெரியார் சிந்தித்திருக்கிறார் என்பதுதான். இந்த ஜொமேட்டோன்னு சொல்கிறோம், இன்றைக்கி சாப்பாடெல்லாம் நமக்கு வீட்டு வாசலில் கொடுக்குற மாதிரியான ஒரு அரேஞ்ச்மெண்ட் இருக்குது. இதையெல்லாம் கன்சீவ் பண்ணியிருக்கார் பெரியார். பெரியார் சொல்கிறார், இந்த பொம்பளைங்க ஏன் காலையிலேருந்து சாயங்காலம் வரைக்கும் இந்த சமையல் கட்டி ஆடுறாங்க. எல்லாம் ஊரெல்லாம் சேர்ந்து ஒரு இடத்துல ஒரு கிச்சன் மாதிரி வச்சுட்டு அங்கேருந்து எல்லாருக்கும் சப்ளை பண்ணால் போதாதா? மீதி நேரத்தை பயனுள்ளதாக இவங்க செலவு பண்ணக்கூடாதா? இப்படிலாம் சிந்திக்கிறார். அது நினச்சி பார்க்கும்போது ஒரு 80-90 வருஷங்களுக்கு முன்னால் இப்படி அவர் பகுத்தறிவாளர் மட்டுமல்ல, அவர் அந்த தீர்க்க தரிசனம் சொல்கிறதுக்கு கூட அப்பாற்பட்டு விளங்குகிறார். இது பெரியாரினுடைய ஒரு சிறப்புன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, அவருடைய சிந்தனை பெண் விடுதலை பற்றி அவர் சிந்தனை கூட ரொம்ப புதிய சிந்தனை தான். பெண் ஏன் இப்படி இருக்கானாக்கா ஒரு முக்கியமான காரணம் கருப்பை என்றார். குழந்தைய
Raghaveni, Roshini, Santosh, Siddharth, Sivasakti, Sneha, Batra, Davasi, Vishnu Bhavani, Kemasi, College of Engineering, Thuthukudi, Atal, Abhinam.
Teachers are striving to create a robust, dynamic and cultural society. The institution offers 4 full-time UG programs and Professor C. Peter Devadas has served as a dean during the year 2022-23. The number of students enrolled during academic faculty members in other institutions is 34 by 16 faculty members. The conferences to other institutes is 13 by 6 different faculty. The conference, seminar, symposium. science and humanities too. Conference of seminar symposia attended by faculty members at national level within India for mechanical engineering. Total number of conference seminar symposia attended by printing facility and access of IEEE journals and internet and use of online resources, etc. Hostel facilities. The students are offered residential accommodation in the best possible living environment.
Has been my mentor also into your goal. Excellence is a continuous process, not an accident or an incident. Okay. Last week, your professors came there to invite me for this particular function, and I readily, since it was a Sunday, we all can take time off and spend time with all of you. And then after the exchange of pleasantries, then I asked him that whether all the students who are passing out today
Dhanush